Good evening. Please come to our next standard IAS 41 Agriculture. This standard deals with how to account for agriculture related assets, transactions, events. Many companies may be involved in some agricultural activity. And one of the challenges in this agriculture accounting is finding the cost or the fair value of the various aspects that will be covered here. Agriculture in many countries is mostly a cash business. Okay, they don't maintain records. All transactions are in cash. Farmers are poor. So we're not talking about such people, because of course they will not follow IFRS. But there may be entities at corporate level who may be interested or doing the agriculture related activity like tea plantation, coffee plantation, rubber plantation, farms, chicken, poultry farms. Okay, they will have to apply this standard. IAS 14 prescribes accounting treatment. First part will be dealing with accounting treatment next few minutes, and towards the end we'll discuss the disclosure part relating to agricultural activity. Okay, the standard provides that entity shall apply the standard to account for the following when they relate to agricultural activity. So the focus of the standard is only on agricultural activity, and that too it deals with items like biological asset. Meanings we'll see below. What is biological asset? Agricultural produce. This is the scope of the standard. It deals with biological asset, which usually means living plant or animal. Agricultural produce up to the point of harvest. For example, a fruit on the tree, is it right? Milk, up to the point of harvest. But once it is harvested, removed, then inventory standard IAS 2 will apply. And this standard also deals with accounting treatment of government grant related to agricultural activity. Only government grant related accounting is covered by IAS 20. Is it right? But if it is related to agricultural activity, then in that case, the standard will apply. So some portion of the standard will be dedicated to treatment of government grant related to agricultural activity, because government wants to promote agricultural activity. Second, government wants to promote certain types of production must be there. Otherwise, farmers will normally produce only what is more profitable to them. There will be an imbalance between different types of products available in the marketplace. So to encourage the farmers to produce something, grow something, they may be given subsidy or some or the other benefits. How to do accounting of that will be covered by the standard. Does this standard deal with land used for agricultural activity? The answer is no. So the question they can ask you for multiple choice question, land used for agricultural activity, standard applicable IAS 16 or IAS 41. So your answer will be IAS 16 will be applicable. Okay. Or maybe IAS 40, which is investment property, but not IAS 41 agriculture. So a mango tree is growing on the land, you have to follow two different standards. For land, you have to apply either of the two standards, and for the mango tree, you have to apply another standard, and for the mango which is on the tree, you have to apply another standard. And those mangoes which you have removed from the tree, you have to apply again another standard for that. What about the intangible asset? If an entity carries intangible asset attributable to agricultural activity, for example, you have a brand under which you sell milk. Okay, Amul brand. selling milk, will that be accounted as IAS 41 under IAS 41 or under IAS 38? Or you may have some technology for farming purpose, some technical know-how which helps you to give more production. The technical know-how will be accounted under IAS 38. So brand, goodwill, technical know-how related to agricultural activity will be covered by this standard. Intangible asset IAS 38. What about the leasing activity? Lessors of biological asset under operating lease and lessee of biological asset under finance lease will apply IAS 41 and not IAS 17. Lessor in case of operating lease, because he is the person who does the capitalization of the asset, and lessee under finance lease because he is the person who capitalizes the asset under finance lease. So they will apply IAS 41. So after understanding the scope paragraph, let us come to some important definitions used in this standard. 1. What is an agricultural activity? You see on the screen, I have written in point form. Each word is important to check whether it is an agricultural activity or not. For example, you and your friend go to ocean, take a net and start doing fish farming. That is, you start catching the fish. Is it an agricultural activity? Okay. So these are the question. Or suppose there is a zoo and you are having some animals in that zoo. Is that an agricultural activity? Right? So yes or no after reading the definition. So agricultural activity is the management by the entity. Underline management. Now management means you take all the necessary activity, necessary action to achieve something. You do the planning. Okay, you arrange for resources. You arrange for human resources to look after that activity. So when you go to do fishing in an ocean, it is not management. Is it right? It is unmanaged resource. Management by an activity of the biological transformation. This word biological transformation is printed somewhere below. So you take active part in growth, degeneration. It's written below. Biological transformation means growth, degeneration, production, procreation. That means you create environment. Okay. You provide all the necessary facilities to the living plant and animal so that there will be growth. So take the example, suppose there is a calf born, procreation. Calf grows into a mature cattle. Then from the calf, which becomes a cow now, you produce milk, and once that cow dies, then you use it for either beef or whatever, leather. Is it right? Nothing to laugh. This is biological transformation. Okay. Seem to be a BJP candidate. Now, of the biological transformation. So biological transformation means there is a change in that particular living animal or plant which is managed by the entity. If it is unmanaged, this standard is not applicable. And harvest of, one is management of biological transformation, second is harvesting of. So harvesting means removing the item from the biological asset. For example, mango tree has mango, somebody will remove it. That is called harvesting. Milking the cow is also an harvesting activity in this standard. And the purpose of harvesting would be for sale. like milk is sold, fruits are sold, vegetables are sold, or to convert into agricultural produce, or use it for generation of additional biological asset. One biological asset for generation of another biological asset. These are the purposes of harvesting: sale, conversion into agricultural produce, or into additional biological asset. So whenever they ask you a question whether this is an agricultural activity, apply this checklist. Is it managed by the entity? Is it resulting into biological transformation? Is it harvesting of biological asset for sale or conversion into another agricultural produce or into additional biological asset? If the answer to your question is yes, welcome to this standard. Okay. Now next question is, what is agricultural produce? In the definition of agricultural activity, they had used the term agricultural produce. So agricultural produce is the harvested product of the entity's biological asset. From the biological asset, what you get after harvesting is called agricultural produce. Simple example would be milk. Cow is a biological asset, and from the cow we get milk, so it's a harvested product. From the grape wine, which is a biological asset, we get the grapes. From sheep, we get wool. Now the next question is, what is a biological asset? Biological asset would always mean a living animal or plant. What about the dead animal? Carcass will not form part of biological asset definition. So there is a question, suppose 20 sheep were there, 40 died. How many units of biological assets you have? 160. 200 minus 40. Sorry, I said 100. 100 sheep, 40 died. 60 would be the biological asset. Example of biological asset: dairy cattle, this cow, grape wines, okay, sheep. It will include annual crops and plants also, like wheat, maize, rice, soya, tomato. These are all biological assets. Once you harvest them, it will become agricultural produce. Is the standard applicable to biological asset or agricultural produce, or both? Biological asset, yes. Agricultural produce up to the point of harvest, yes. But it is not applicable to, be careful, the product that are the result of processing after the harvest. Some examples: sheep is a biological asset, living animal. From sheep we get wool, agricultural produce. Wool is used to manufacture carpet, yarn. Standard is applicable to sheep till it dies. It is applicable to wool till it is harvested. And then it is not applicable at all to yarn and carpet. Trees in a plantation forest, yes. Failed trees up to the point of harvest, yes. But once it is converted into logs or lumber, no. Cotton plants, cotton, yes. Thread, clothing, no. Sugar cane, harvested cane, yes. Sugar, no. What about dairy cattle? Yes. Milk, yes. Up to the point of harvest. But from the milk, if you produce cheese, butter, okay, not applicable. Pig's carcass, yes. Sausages, no. Bushes, leaf, yes. Tea and cured tobacco, no. Wines, grapes, yes. But this wine, which comes in a packed bottle, no. Fruit trees and picked fruit, yes. But the jam and jelly, no. Ice cream, no. Oil palms, picked fruit, yes. Palm oil, no. Rubber trees and harvested latex? Yes. Rubber products? No. Understood? Partly. Now let us see the meaning of biological transformation. Somewhere below it is printed biological transformation. When did we come across this term biological transformation? In the definition of agricultural activity. Agricultural activity is the management by an entity of the biological transformation. So biological transformation comprises the process of growth. If you want to write the example, growth means these calves grow into mature cattle. Okay, so this is the stage of growth. Degeneration, beef cattle are slaughtered. Production, dairy cattle yield milk. And procreation, calves are born. This is just an example, taking cow as a base. It for different products it can be different items. Okay, so process of growth, degeneration, production, creation, procreation, that causes, underline below, qualitative or quantitative change in the biological asset. What is the meaning of qualitative? A small calf becomes a cow is a qualitative change. One calf becomes two calves at the end of the year. So that is a quantitative change. Is it right? Numbers grow. Numbers are also managed by the management, and then quality is managed. So that is called biological transformation. Now next is a group of biological asset. Check where it is printed. A group of biological asset, same place. Continuity. A group of biological asset is an aggregation of similar living animals and plants. Now in this standard, what you will do, why this is there, suppose you have 1000 cows, you have to value them. Are you going to value individually? Possible? No. Yes also, no also. Okay, you have lakhs of mangoes on the tree. Are you going to value each mango? Is it right? So the answer is no. In that case, what we'll do? We'll do the valuation on the basis of aggregation of similar living animals or plants. So we will take the total of all mangoes multiplied by value of one mango. That is how we can do the valuation, because this biological asset that we might be having in our stock maybe in lakhs of numbers also, thousands of numbers also. Like in case of chicken farm, there are thousands and lakhs of chicken. Are you going to catch hold of each of them and do the valuation? So you'll do the valuation on aggregation basis. Now next is the concept of harvest. When did we come across harvest? In the definition of agricultural activity, in the definition of agricultural produce. Harvest is the detachment of a produce from a biological asset. Like this example, some fruit was there on the tree. This chap removed those tree from the fruit. So what he has done? He has harvested. In this chapter, his act is that of harvesting. His eating also, that is different. Or the cessation of a biological asset's life process. So if the plant, suppose this plant dies, then it is called harvesting. Or if the animal dies. What is an agricultural activity? Agricultural activity covers a wide range of activities. For example, agricultural activity will involve raising of livestock also, like this person is doing. Forestry, annual or perennial cropping, cultivating orchards, floriculture, means growing flowers, is also a part of this business, this chapter. And this is a big business. And then aquaculture, means you will breed the fishes. Okay, you will create environment where fishes will be breeded. Now we'll continue tomorrow.